Hey, welcome to the world's worst podcast. I'm Ben. That's Devin.
Hi.
This week, talk about drunk pedestrians, magic space moon Australians, and episode 5 of Twin Peaks. Episode 6 will be discussed next week. The plot is thickening. The momentum is quickening. And I can't think of a third thing to end that triplet with. So, music this week for the intro provided by Go280 and the Uwe Schenk Band. A little chiptune jazz combo. The song is Volksing Ferretismico. This is the world's worst podcast. Enjoy.
Bye.
So you got to the walking bridge, and that's where it got interesting?
Sort of. Like,
hey.
So there's the St. Augustine's Church there, and then you go on the other side of St. Augustine's Church, and there's houses and things. And so you walk, and if you don't have the best eyesight, because maybe you were confused about what liquids go in your body, you might not see that there's a fence there, and so you follow the fence, and it brings you all the way back to fucking main street that goes into goddamn nothing. Whoa!
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that should be cut out. I don't want my.
I'll edit that.
Yeah, but you go around the fucking fence, and you're like, shit. Is it safe to keep going? Like, I've come this far. Like, I can't go over the fucking walking bridge, go to the street light, and then go to Target.
Well, actually, you could. I mean, that's the point of the walking bridge. But
yeah, that would actually have been a much safer, much wiser decision if I was there. But, like... Right. I was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to go there even if this cripples me. And so I walked across the street. And thankfully, fucking thank good Jesus that I don't believe in, I got onto the sidewalk eventually and was able to make it over to Target. The issue then became getting home, which was bad. And I creeped out this poor lady, and it was awful. Yeah, the creeping out was because I was stumbly and huge, and she was a nice lady who was just going to her car, and had absolutely nothing to fear from me except for maybe asking directions because I was drunk, but I wasn't going to do anything, of course, because I'm not a fucking monster,
right? And
so but
there's a lot of ambiguity in that moment, we'll say.
Yeah, dude, I'd fucking be scared if some dude came wandering into the parking lot and was huge. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be scared.
Kind of stumbly. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fucking understandable. It's not good, but I totally understand that impulse or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is that the end of the story?
Yes. Yes.
You almost climbed a fence. And you made it across a street instead of using a walking bridge and got to Target anyway.
I didn't die.
Didn't die, yes.
I got my money, and I'm never going to do anything stupid like that ever again.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Dead.
Look. I mean, I've known you long enough.
Well, it was uniquely stupid. Come on, like it was.
Okay. To be fair, that's true. That's true. You probably won't do that again. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, and even like I wouldn't even say that about myself. Right?
I'll probably do something else stupid. I mean, if we're going to be fair, but that is uniquely stupid for me. Like,
okay, sure, I'll give you that.
That level of stupid isn't going to repeat itself.
Please, though, take care of yourself, man. Come on.
I'm gonna try.
I want to see you around the end of the year.
Dude, it gets scary because like at that footbridge, right? Like, you have the option of going down this ambiguous hill that you're not sure about if there's any potholes or like when the last time they mowed. You know?
Right.
It's just like walking through a field is what I'm trying to say.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. There's a hole outside of my apartment actually, in the road that you would easily break your ankle in if you didn't know existed.
Yeah.
It's at least 6 to 8 inches deep.
What?
Point. Yeah. No, it's a huge hole. It's like someone just came around with a shovel and was like, I'm going to dig a hole here. And then they
like
dig...
in the road?
No. It's on the shoulder. Is it called a shoulder? The thing that's between the road and the sidewalk. No, it's in the grass part that's between the sidewalk.
It's between the road and the sidewalk.
And you suck my dick. The thing where you would put fucking signs up.
Right. Yeah, I know. That sort of patch of, like it's grass.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's government land.
Sure,
it is.
It's just that particular phrasing is just, I don't know, something funny about it to me. But so right, but I know what you're talking about. Okay, I thought you meant like there was a giant pothole or something. It was like,
no,
it's
not just
okay.
like
that still is weird. But okay.
No, it's not just stuck in the middle of the thoroughfare or whatever. It's just not
right.
Yeah.
You know, when I growing up in my parents' house. We had, there was a front yard and there was a path down the middle of it. It was a small front yard and a little path down the middle from the front door, and then there was the sidewalk, and then there was like a strip of grass that went all the way down the street, the side of the street. And my parents would always call that the boulevard or something. I thought that's what they called it.
That's weird.
But I don't know. At least that's what my memory is, and I might have the wrong word coming up in my brain. I just remember whatever the word was weird to me, and I didn't understand why it also was a name for a road. But I don't know.
Boulevard is a name for a word. Jesus fucking Christ! It's a name for a road.
Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna go to Google and I'm gonna define boulevard. A wide street in a town or city, typically one lined with trees. Okay, sure, fine. Anyway.
Oh, so specifically it would be like what you would see in the residential area of the city I live in.
Typical in residential areas, where you have wider streets and trees and grass along the side. So I mean, it kind of relates.
Yeah, so like 3rd Avenue as opposed to Division.
Sure, Yeah.
I should not be looking at Tumblr.
Bad, Devin. Bad.
I got distracted. Screw you.
Okay. All right. So I have this question for you. Since I haven't actually talked to you, I was wondering, since our conversation yesterday via text while I was working, I was wondering what your what's the word? Status was going to be today.
Drunk.
Yeah, and it turned out it was drunk. For
there's no shame. That's okay.
I'm just no, it's fine. So my question to you is, are you still together enough to want to talk Twin Peaks later on in this episode?
Yeah, let's talk Twin Peaks. I passed out during the second episode I was supposed to watch.
And okay, yeah, so we're doing 5 and 6 today.
Yeah, and woke up to like a billion texts. And yeah.
Okay. Well, then we'll cover that in a little bit.
Yeah, I only made it a little bit through the second episode.
Yeah, I can try to fill in the gaps. But other than your Target escapades, how was your week?
Ooh, my expensive pen, my expensive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the one that's been giving you all that trouble.
Yeah, it's because I'm an idiot.
Okay,
it's working just fine now.
What was the problem?
So on a nib, you typically have like a rhodium or steel tip,
and
you got a little booty there, and like that thing is what's making contact with the paper. Like maybe in a dip pen, you might have like a pointy point, you know. But like, if you don't know what you're doing and that doesn't make contact, it's not going to put out ink as much. I mean,
so you're saying if you don't make the appropriate contact, it's not going to put out?
Yeah. Yes. But okay. It's not. It's. I got your joke there. No.
Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Didn't get past me.
I'm immature. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. That's funny. I'm trying to focus. But you could get one tine of the nib on the paper, and it'll still write. You know, it'll just be poopy butts.
Right.
But like when you, but you need to do is get, both tines of the nib onto the paper, and then it'll work. And it works, and it works well. I actually really like the pen a lot. I wouldn't have paid $100 for it, knowing what I know now.
Right.
I would have paid $60 for it, knowing what I know now. But you need to have the appropriate ink for the pen, because the pen is super dry writing. So even with the Diamine Midnight, that's super duper, just like, let's shit this ink out as fast as possible kind of ink. It will dry up and start to skip at a page. So the Diamine Ancient Copper isn't great for it. That's also the second part of the story, I guess, because like I love the Diamine Ancient Copper color. I love the shading. I love the look of it. I love it. Except it's not a super great ink.
It's just the composition of the ink in terms of like,
it's too dry.
Right.
I mean, it dries great, which is great. Like it dries. Jesus Christ, it dries on the paper. Well, you know what I mean, like as a dry,
dries quickly.
Yeah, quick dry time. But it writes dryly. Like it's temperamental in pens that are really good. Like, you shouldn't ever have a problem writing with a $50 pen. You know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't ever be an issue. And Diamine Ancient Copper does that. I mean, it's pretty as shit, but like, it's still real dry. So I'm also gonna. What? Hello,
Devin?
Hello.
Devin. What? Devin. Hey, focus. What do you?
No, I was doing that because like I thought you couldn't hear me.
Okay, your story just kind of sort of trailed off there, ever. And then you just were very quiet. So like,
then I was making noise. It was just like basically me repeating "hello" is what I was trying to do. I'm sorry.
Right, okay. But your story trailed off there. I wasn't really sure what.
Oh, basically just it's not a great ink. Is all I'm saying. Okay. And it's definitely not an ink for beginners like me. So.
Okay. But someday you'll tame that beast?
I don't know. Maybe. I think while it looks pretty, there are far better inks like the Diamine Oxblood or any Noodler's Lion. It would just be interesting to see how things turn out.
Okay. And I do apologize. I presume that in my mailbox right now there is the most recent letter that you sent me, but I forgot to check my mail.
No, man, that's cool.
Because
I'm just mailing out letters. It doesn't really matter what happens with them.
Well, I mean, ideally they would be read by the recipient.
Yeah, that's my goal. But I'm not pissed at anybody because peeps are busy.
Yeah, you're just pissed.
No. All jokes. I'm not capable of jokes right now, Ben.
No, that's yeah.
I recognized your joke you're putting out there for me, but I was just I can't do this. I'm sorry.
I'm sure that's the reaction that any comedian would go for. I recognize that joke. Good. That was a joke. Thank you.
Acknowledged.
Oh God.
You're one of my favorite people, Ben. Did I ever tell you that? I like you, Ben. You're a good guy.
We have fun. Yeah.
1 second.
Okay.
Stand by. Oh my God. Dude, I burned myself fucking cooking. It was awful. Anyway, tell me about your week. Are your ankles better?
Oh no, yeah, no. I've been having no more ankle problems. That got sorted out. It was one day wearing my shoes poorly, and I've rectified it.
Yeah, I just never got feedback or whatever. So.
Yeah, I suppose. I got my feet back though, so that's important.
Oh, that's good. I need those.
So that was not a good one. That was a bad attempt.
That's okay. I followed it up with horrible jokes, so it's alright.
Anyway,
I want to say one thing though.
Sure.
Gay porn is the most hilarious reaction shots you can possibly pour towards anything. Anyway, continue what you were saying.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
I'm sorry.
You really aren't focusing right now, are you?
Dude, I'm very happy that I'm awake right now.
Okay. That's a start. Oh boy. All right. So the only problem. So last week I was talking about how I had 2 presentations this week.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
They went well. I still haven't gotten my grade for the Monday one, which is sort of the bigger one.
It's gonna be an A. That's no.
I hope so. I hope it's good. But on Tuesday was the one I was stressed out for a different reason, because there was an issue with the professor who was teaching the class got sick, wasn't going to be able to finish the semester, and so there was this period of what are we going to do? The dean of the department was like, we will make sure you guys have the opportunity to finish with full credit for the course and everything. But it was what's going to happen? We were just about to start, these presentations in class.
Is the person going to be okay?
Yeah. It was. Okay. It's cluster headaches is.
I totally understand. It's not like cancer. It's
no.
Okay.
No. Yeah, it was. But.
Sorry about that.
No. That's a totally reasonable thing to ask. And so this last week, I should say, I ended up being. I wasn't originally going to be the first presentation, but we had a class that was skipped, and then a class to meet with the dean and figure out what we were going to do. Which was going to be the week of the first presentation, so I wasn't the first, but then it turned out I ended up being the first, because the way things got sort of shuffled around. And I had to do this presentation in front of this professor who was new to the department, who was joining from another university, and considering this isn't a class in my usual department, I have no clue who this guy is, and so it was just scary. But
what class are you taking?
It's just a theories of mediated communication course.
That's not in your It's not
it's in. So there's the Department of Communication that I'm in, and then there's a department of telecommunications that is next to it, is sort of related, but it's not.
That's real weird.
It's anyway, a different focus. There are organizational reasons for it. I'm not going to get into them here. But the point is, I could. There would be things to discuss in the area, but I don't want to go there. So yeah, it's this new professor who I've never met before, and I have to present, and and I'm just freaked out anyway because it's I haven't done this kind of thing in a while, and am I looking at this the right way? And but the presentation went well. He was very pleased with the design of my slides because I put a little effort into that. Because I've messed with PowerPoint for long enough that I can, think of different ways of presenting things. It wasn't crazy. Whatever. The point is, it went super well. The guy was super cool, and it was a really fun class period because we got some really interesting discussion and all that. So that actually went way better than I thought it was going to. And then, the thing I forgot about, so last week I was freaking out because I had these presentations due. The thing I forgot about was that for this week, for Monday actually, I have this take-home midterm due for one of my classes. So I'm still kind of freaked out about that because I'm not done with it yet as we record this. By the time I guess this podcast goes up, I'll have been done with it. But in the meantime, I'm still kind of stressing about that. But so...
You're going to do just fine.
Yeah, it's just doing it and making sure I have enough time to do it. But yeah.
Yeah, me saying that, I understand, does absolutely fuck all to make you feel better, but I have absolute confidence that you will do just fine.
No, I appreciate it. I do. Thank you. But this week was... I did have a little bit of time to actually sort of kick back and enjoy some time. I got to play a bit more of Shadow of Mordor, a little bit, a couple more hours, just running around killing some more stuff. I have barely done any missions. I've just been enjoying roaming around, finding captains, and then cutting their heads off.
Which kind of sounds pretty much like the sum of the game. To be completely honest.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's really interesting. Actually, one of the things that's tough about the game is that really the missions aren't the story isn't super clear and not super engaging. And no, I'm not going to look at those things you're sending me.
God damn it! I didn't think you were going to recognize it on the podcast, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, you're just laughing for no good reason, so I figured I had to at least acknowledge it.
Fair enough.
But
I'm just trolling. Sorry.
I haven't been doing any of the story. I played the first mission, one of the first missions that appears outside of the sort of main story is you actually meet Gollum in Mordor, which just seems like a total toss-off. We got to have Gollum. It's a Lord of the Rings game. And, whatever, the portrayal of Gollum is totally fine and whatnot, but it's
this is supposed to be... When is this supposed to be set?
This is between The Hobbit and the first book of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
See, that's not... I would be more interested in seeing Gollum before The Hobbit. I think it would be interesting if this was
right. Yeah, but that's not where this game is set, and it's but yeah, Gollum's just in there because you gotta have Gollum, right? And so that feels kind of stupid. I was actually kind of avoiding wanting to go into it because I was this is just gonna be a dumb thing. But it's fine. It's just every time it's one of those problems I think that comes up in open world games in general, and is very much evident in this game in particular, that when you're doing story missions, it can be very hard to contextualize them properly.
Yeah.
Because, you have one mission ends and it suggests the proceeding on to the next mission by the way it ends. But then it's I'm going to fuck around for a couple hours. And then by the time you get back to the missions, it's wait, who's this guy? What's going on here? But then you can't, as a game designer and a storyteller, you can't sort of have every mission sort of hold your hand in story terms, because then if you do them one after the other, or even just a couple of them in a row, like you're going to get really frustrated with that. So it's like it's a tough problem to solve, and maybe there would just have to be some more reactive design in terms of like, okay, how long has it been since this person did the last story mission? And then maybe they change the cutscenes a bit or something to help with that. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, the core gameplay is still fun. Like I still very much enjoy that game and hope to play a bunch more of it as I have time. But we'll see when that happens.
Right.
And then the other thing is I got to play the Borderlands pre-sequel. Came out this week, and I was playing that I was very excited to play that with my brother and his girlfriend. And yeah, it's more Borderlands. Like, I mean, we played 3 hours of it, which was a lot of fun. It's essentially it's the story, it's meant to fill in some gaps between the first Borderlands and Borderlands 2. And it takes place on the moon of Pandora, where you are mercenaries hired by Handsome Jack to like try and get at the vault. Like this is when Handsome Jack was still just a lowly engineer for Hyperion or something. And so far, like, it's fine. It's still Borderlands, so it plays just fine. There's on the moon, there's this oxygen mechanic where you have to like have an Oz tank, which is what they call them, because apparently the moon of Hyperion is filled by Australians, which I'm actually totally okay with. I quite enjoying the Aussiness of it. But you, as you're running around on the moon, if you're not in a vehicle or in a specific like town or certain areas will have oxygen bubbles, like you're having to run over oxygen vents, or enemies will drop oxygen when they die. Really, it's like a lot of the things I was reading going into it were people like bitching about how restrictive the oxygen mechanic was going to be, and in playing it for the short time, for the couple hours that we did on this week, it didn't really seem that restrictive at all. It was just something that occasionally you had to be aware of, because like if you weren't killing things and like not thinking about it, like your oxygen can get a bit lower. But more what it provides is a sort of a jump boost mechanic, like when you jump and your gravity's lower, because apparently all moons are just that way. I mean, it's whatever. It's a smaller body. Whatever, the gravity's smaller than Pandora because it's still a smaller celestial body. But your gravity's lower, so you jump higher and you kind of bound along a bit more. So your things are kind of just more sort of exaggerated in terms of movement. You still kind of move at the same speed, but it's just you're sort of bounding along, and the animations are a bit different for that. But when you jump, you can get an extra boost by using your oxygen to kind of go tss and get an extra sort of forward or a bit up boost.
Yeah.
So you're keeping an eye on oxygen for that. And actually, so there are 4 characters, again, as always, different classes, different skill trees.
You can play as Claptrap, dude.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You can play as Claptrap, and because he's a robot, you don't have to worry about oxygen. And I chose to play as Claptrap and didn't even think about it until we first got introduced to it, and I was like, I'm just running around and I don't give a shit. It's great.
I thought you hated Claptrap.
No, I don't hate Claptrap. People hate Claptrap because he's annoying. And he is annoying, and that's the point. But yeah. I find his annoyingness, tolerable and entertaining enough.
I actually didn't find him annoying whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see why people would find the characterization grating, but I'm enjoying it so far. And but you're still using the oxygen tank for the jump boost, and then you have slams that you can do. Like when you jump up in the air, if you hit crouch, you slam straight down on enemies and do some explosive damage. And your Oz tanks, you get different ones throughout the course of the game, like you do with shields or class items, that sort of thing. Another customization thing that also provides you with different slam powers and different little things like early on, you can get an Oz tank that will give you health as well as oxygen whenever you pick up an oxygen tank pickup.
That's cool.
But yeah, so I mean, it's fun. It's still Borderlands. It's one of the biggest complaints I've read about it so far is that, you know, if you didn't like where they went with Borderlands 2 in terms of the writing and the humor, you know, you're not gonna like the pre-sequel any more than you did Borderlands 2 because it's just that some more.
What did you think of Borderlands 2?
Well, personally, I really enjoyed Borderlands 2, and while the humor was sometimes a bit too internet memey, like I still overall enjoyed the story and the structure of it, and largely the characterization. So I'm still very much enjoying the pre-sequel so far, and expect to continue to enjoy it. Also, it's just a really fun game to play with other people. So getting a chance to play it, you know, with my brother and everything is super great. So
yeah, that is good because like there are not a huge amount of like activities over distance that you can do with people. So that's good.
Yeah, it's very nice, and I'm looking forward to playing some more of it this week. Because lately we've been playing Diablo 3, and while that's a perfectly competent game, the story just I don't give a shit, and it's kind of fun, 3. But it's not as engaging as Borderlands for me personally. I enjoy first-person games a lot more in general, so I'm not like big into shooters specifically. Like I give no shits about Call of Duty or Halo or anything like that, but Borderlands is a lot of fun. It just, you know, that's kind of where I fall on that.
I've been watching. Oh, sorry.
No, that was me ending my thought. Sorry.
I've been watching Northern Lion playing Borderlands 3, so that's my only real.
It's not Borderlands 3.
I mean, the pre.
That's one thing they've been trying. That sort of is because actually it's not developed by Gearbox. Gearbox worked on it, and they provided, I guess, a lot of the story stuff. But it's primarily made by 2K Australia, which I presume, you know, explains the Space Moon Australians. But yeah, it's it's cool.
I meant the pre-sequel. I just the name is hard to.
I wasn't trying to just be a pedantic ass. I was also trying to work in that extra little tidbit that I forgot to mention earlier.
Fair enough.
Because it's kind of not considered a mainline Borderlands game. You know, presumably there will be a Borderlands 3 at some point.
Are there? Like I thought that the studio that was working on Borderlands in general was like, we're not doing this no more.
No. That's
GLAF.
That's not. That is not the case.
Not the right.
No, I think. Well, they are working on a new game. I think it's called Battleborn. There was some crazy shit that came out about like what they said they were trying to do. I think that was earlier this year or last year, where like Randy Pitchford, who's like the head of Gearbox, put out a crazy tweet saying like it's like a MOBA FPS loot based. And like just weird ass adjectives about how you were going to play it.
That sounds horrible.
I don't know. I mean, I still don't really understand what it is. So I'll reserve judgment until there's something more concrete. But yeah, I mean, that sounds certainly like the primary project that Gearbox is working on, and despite the success of Borderlands, as I understand it, they're not a huge studio, so presumably any work on Borderlands 3 would be superseded by this Battleborn thing.
You know, I say it sounds horrible, and don't get me wrong, it does, but if you were to describe Borderlands to me, I would be like, that sounds horrible. But I like Borderlands. I think it's a cool story with cool characters and interesting gamey stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I'm trying to pull up this Randy Pitchford insane tweet. Okay, yeah, here. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. So this was July. This was around just after E3 this year. Randy Pitchford tweeted this. Battleborn is, FPS, hobby grade co-op campaign, genre blended, multi-mode competitive esports, meta growth, choice, and epic battleborn heroes.
So nonsense.
What the fuck is hobby grade co-op?
Yeah.
Multi-mode competitive esports? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's...
I don't, like... What is that supposed to mean? That's marketing bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. But, you know... I'll be curious to see what they come up with. I still don't really understand what the game is supposed to be, but I'll reserve judgment until I see more of it. But sorry, you were gasping in surprise.
Well, no, I just remembered something I wanted to talk about, but I forgot I didn't want to interrupt your.
Yeah, no, and I'm saying I'm handing you the ball, Devin. Run with it.
So, someone who, how do I make this vague enough? So
this person that you know,
has had a traumatic event happen to someone they know,
right?
And like, so basically, the way I deal with any kind of difficult situation is with my rational mind.
Okay.
If you look at EBT coping skills, basically it talks about there's the thinking self, and then there's the feeling self, and then the combined thing is the rational mind.
Right.
So if we think about coping skills in that context, my first reaction to anything is to detach my emotional thinking completely and try my best to stay in a rational state. And so my reaction to this person's completely reasonable issue was this person said the world is a harsh and awful place, and the longer time that they are an attorney, the longer, the more they see that the world is a harsh place, a harsh and antagonistic place.
Right. Did this just happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. And specific, I don't know. Don't know how specific it should be, but
try to be as general as possible, particularly if this is a personal matter.
Basically, this very vulnerable person who's been sick for a while was victimized. Truly an awful situation. And my reaction was to be like, no, the world isn't an awful place. All these things were done by people, and blah, 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 blah. And while I was completely correct, the timing and the lack of empathy was completely the incorrect reaction to have.
Right.
And the only thing that was really important was care and concern and love that I did have, but I wasn't thinking in that kind of mind. My reaction was to be like, well, let's analyze this analytically and detach our feelings from it and
take solace in something rational and explainable.
Yeah, which in all reality does not make anyone feel better when they're angry at something. Like, it doesn't make...
I would say it doesn't help everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't help everybody.
Some people.
When I am angry at the universe and think that people are poopy butts, it's not necessarily going to be the most helpful to be like, no, the world didn't do this. The world isn't this acting causal agent.
Yeah, people can't be complete butts. They can be significant portion of them can be butts, or at least some portion of them can be butts. But you can't have a butt person. That's just crazy.
Yeah, and like the it's not a matter of there's evil and then evil is an acting agent in the world. It's probably more concise and accurate of what I was trying to communicate.
Yeah. That idea of
philosophical evil.
Yeah. Evil not being an actual force. You know what, Devin? I think it's my turn to send you a link to something. I'll put this in the description as an emergency sort of break in case of intense feelings. Yeah.
I'm always vulnerable to squeak. So
I just figured since we got really serious there out of nowhere, maybe
no, that's perfectly appropriate.
Maybe there was something else.
That's perfectly appropriate. I just felt like a fucking asshole was all my point is.
So. That's fair. Well, and that's, you know what? I mean, if now is real talk time, I would say that in part, that exact divide between emotional and rational thinking in times of serious, say, tribulations, was a big part of what broke up my last relationship. So I know where you're coming from.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that kitty again. It's cute.
Yeah, just look at the kitty, Devin. It'll be okay.
It's so cute.
I know. Oh, anyway.
I want to volunteer at the Humane Society, but like, I would adopt everything. Like I would be evicted for pet hoarding. Like,
yeah, it's tough. Ooh.
So we watched a show, I hear.
Yes. Why don't we transition into Twin Peaks talk and try to approach some sort of end for this podcast? Because, God damn it, I still have to do a lot of writing today.
Do you really? That sucks. I'm sorry, dude.
It's whatever. It's my fault for not working to get it done sooner. It's just that, it's hard. I'm sort of pounding my head against it.
Wait, we're not on Rest in Pain. We are on the One-Armed Man.
Yeah, episodes 5 and 6.
I can only comment on 5.
Okay, I can kind of take us through 6, but yeah. So episode 5.
Oh, go ahead. I'll talk about it afterwards. That's fine.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, and we are approaching now 8 episodes in the first season, which really, for my money, is all you need to watch when you think about Twin Peaks. And yeah, things, everything's starting to approach an end. More things are starting to be figured out, but at the same time, other weird shit's just getting thrown up out of these confounding factors are slowly appearing in episodes 5 and 6, especially.
Yeah, I actually just brought up the description for the episode. Should I read the description?
Sure.
Okay. Amazingly, both Cooper and Sheriff Truman managed to locate the one-armed man from Cooper's dream. Meanwhile, Josie Packard follows Ben and Catherine as the couple's conspiracy to destroy the Packard sawmill develops, and then receive a strange message from the soon-to-be paroled Hank. Excuse me. Oh my God, Jennings. I am so rude. I apologize. Hello?
It's okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't stop that train now.
No. I was getting some interference or whatever.
Right.
So I thought I lost you. Yeah. No, that was it. I'm good.
Oh, okay. That's the episode. I guess that summarized it.
According to Wikipedia.
Pretty quickly, yeah. Yeah, so, but I think it missed out a couple important things. So yeah, what was it? So,
I was totally right. I've been vindicated. It was totally
what?
Totally a supernatural event.
Yeah, you said you were vindicated?
Yep, I've been vindicated. That's it. Go ahead.
Wait, for what? Which?
Oh, I was saying that in the, I can't remember if it was the pilot or the second episode, the crazy screaming mother was we saw in the last like 2 seconds.
Whether it was a vision or whether it was something that actually happened.
Yeah, because things were being presented simultaneously, like they were going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I was saying that typically when you see something like that, someone has some kind of knowledge or it's suggestive of something else. And I was totally right. I got vindicated. And that's the end of my usefulness for this show.
You mean, so wait, so you're talking about how at the beginning of the episode they're interviewing Laura's mother, Sarah, about her visions, and she talks about how she saw someone grab the locket?
But they actually say she's been having psychic visions. So we now know that the show has a supernatural element.
I think that was kind of coming into it in other ways too, but yeah, but it was
this is the first time it's been concrete.
It's the first time they've concrete. I mean, of course, even you could consider Cooper's dreams to be some kind of crazy thing, which actually starts to play out a bit more and more over these 2 episodes. But
I kind of just assumed he was just kind of crazy, actually, to be completely honest.
I mean, well, he also is arguably a little, perhaps, crazy, but the other big thing that happens is Audrey talks to Donna and works with and they have an agreement that they're going to try and figure out what happened to Laura and not tell anybody, essentially. Whereas Audrey is, explicitly states having the hots for Agent Cooper and how he's going to take her away to all sorts of, crazy adventures or some such. And so she wants to help him solve the case because she thinks that will endear her to him. And
do you think that she's actually going to work with what's her fate, Donna? Or do you think that what she's going to do is going to be completely self-serving? Because honestly,
it happens. It starts to happen in this episode and episode 6.
Right, but we don't know though. I don't know about episode 6, but we don't know if Audrey is going to keep it solely between.
Oh, right.
Donna
that part. Yeah, I fully believe at this point that it's not going to stay just between the two of them.
And that makes me like Audrey more, to be completely honest.
She's
duplicitous in this situation and is going to betraying
her friend for the perhaps greater good of solving the murder.
Yeah.
And of course, I think it's possible that we maybe misunderstood exactly what Donna was worried about revealing. I think maybe her concern was more, look, I don't want to air Laura's dirty laundry. Obviously she wants to know who killed Laura, but I think maybe she's more concerned about look, let's try to figure out what happened and then worry about and keep that to ourselves and then worry about helping to, provide information about the killer at a later
charitable
point. I think, I think the point is that we don't really know.
Right.
I think in watching it, it's a little unclear. But yeah, it is totally possible that. But I mean, I can't believe that Donna would legitimately be saying, "Look, let's not tell people about what happened to Laura because he's not concerned about who killed her friend." That's crazy. That would make no sense.
I'm not that charitable. I think that she might be afraid of having to deal with consequences because she's a kid. You know what I mean?
But I mean, I think, and again, I think it's Like, yeah, that's why she's saying, like, I don't want, like, let's find out what happened, learn more about this, and so she can hopefully avoid implication in, her apparent questionable behavior, or, protect the sort of image of her friend, her dead friend, like, best friend. I don't think Donna is trying to, like, say, like, let's just leave this mystery unsolved. People shouldn't know who killed Laura, but that she's trying to protect herself and perhaps Laura's image in a self-serving way, but not that she would say, like, well, we found out who killed her, but we shouldn't tell anybody. Like, I don't think she's saying that.
No, I think my concern is not with Donna's concept of humanity. My concern is with Donna's ability to, what's the word? You see not see the future. I'm not talking about magic, but like
right.
ability to see long-term issues. There's a word for this.
Foresight?
I don't got it. Foresight. Thank you very much. I think I'm more concerned with her foresight about the situation than with her lack of common human decency to catch the killer. I think she's not thinking that far. But then again, this is just conjecture and my complete and utter lack of respect for anyone under a certain age.
Okay, sure. So you're biased and I'm not, and that's all that matters.
Jesus Christ! Sure.
That is a fat load of bullshit that I have just laid upon you there. Just for fun. It's it's so much fun to play the part of the know-it-all because it's so easy. It's so easy to not take consideration for anyone else's opinions.
I apologize. Maybe
narcissists have it easy.
Completely wrong.
So that's why it's fun to play one, because then you just don't have to worry about anybody else. No, I know. No, yeah, we're both coming into this with our own particular images of it. But anyway, so there's that. So Norma's husband Hank is.
Which one's that one?
Norma, the person who essentially owns the diner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, her husband Hank is getting out, or he's up for parole. Like that was discussed in episode 4, and now the hearing happens in episode 5, and he gets out on parole. And so now it's like, what's going to happen there? And then, in a moment between Bobby and Shelley, Bobby shows Shelley how to use the gun that she purchased or got a hold of in episode 4.
No, they just made it. They didn't actually do anything with the gun.
What?
They just touch butts.
Yeah, but it's in the context of like I'm going to show you how to use that thing, and then she like puts it to her chest, and it's like I'm going to fuck you now, haha. And then they have
just touch butts,
young person sex, whatever. But so
you're so salty. I can't even handle you.
I'm just playing around. I'm just playing around. So. But you need salt. It keeps you hydrated. It's important. Electrolytes and such.
Sorta.
So, it's much more fun if you just simplify everything. So they do that. Bobby finds Shelley shows Bobby the shirt that has the blood on it. Leo's shirt with the blood. Bobby recognizes or believes he knows what to do with it and takes it. Okay, so I love
your language is particularly interesting today.
This sentence that is at the end of this IMDb synopsis that I'm reading from. So Bobby gets the shirt. He's like, okay, this is important. I can do something with this. And then the next sentence is, he is about to leave, but Shelley doesn't want him to go without having sex with her first. So she shows him a loaded gun. Which is not how it went. Quite.
It's really, really rapey.
But that's, yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, you can't leave without fornicating with me? Let me show you this loaded gun.
Yeah, let me point it. But it was the gun was unrelated to her specific desires to have sex. It was just more, that was kind of like, ooh, you're going to teach me how to shoot, huh? And then she like holds it to her chest, and he's like, I don't know. But
let's make this really clear, though. Like, she, never mind, go on.
Yeah, there was no sex at gunpoint. It was just, the gun was sort of ancillary to the sex.
She's kind of a bad person, dude.
What, Shelley?
Aside from the rapey gunness.
Well, no, it wasn't. But that's.
I know. I'm sorry.
The person who wrote the synopsis is intentionally, I believe, for humor, misrepresenting the act that actually occurred.
Yeah. Anyway, just continue. I'm sorry.
So,
my God,
what? So then we learn a bit more about Madeline, or Maddie, Laura's cousin, who looks exactly like her because he's played by the same actress.
She's kind of creepy.
It's a little strange, yeah. She meets, she goes into the diner and meets James, and there's sort of a really awkward exchange where I was like worried about James like just having a mental breakdown or something, but and then Audrey begins her scheme to try and find out more about what happened to Laura by convincing her father that she should start to work at the store in the perfume department, or the beauty parlor where Laura worked. And let's see. Okay, and then there's, and the episode kind of, I don't want to say it derailed, but it jumps to Cooper and the police find another reason to go after Jacques Renault, the drug runner.
The guy in the chair.
They go to his like apartment. He's not there, but Bobby is there, planting the bloody shirt. Bobby gets away. They don't realize it was him, and they find the shirt and set up a crime scene. Jacques, we later find out as Benjamin Horn, hotel owner, store owner, and general prick, meets with Leo to discuss the arson of the sawmill for that whole subplot of taking it away from Jocelyn Packard. And
Jocelyn Packard?
The Chinese wife of the owner, yeah. And so in this exchange between Horn and Leo, it's a bit more is explained about the connection between Leo and the Renaults. Leo has killed Bernard, the brother who we previously saw captured in episode 4, and Jacques has said he would, quote unquote, or something, stay north of the border, so he's out of town. And let's see, other major little things.
Am I alone in the desire for both those people to die real bad?
Well, see, you just wait a sec, because we'll get there.
Oh, I need to watch the next episode, apparently.
Yeah, you should. Should we not discuss episode 6 then?
I
think if you haven't seen it,
for my benefit, we shouldn't. But I don't think I should be taking it into account since I'm an asshole.
But if we're not going to be able to discuss it, what's the point? Since you didn't.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
So we'll do episode 6 next week. But a couple more things to wrap up with episode 5. the oh god, what was it? Right. So actually, before I get to the crazy mindfuck at the end of episode 5, I'm being hyperbolic slightly. There was another thing. So in episode 5, it looked like Cooper's dream was kind of starting to lead them astray because they find the one-armed man that they thought they were looking for.
Yeah, that poor guy.
Yeah, and it's just this guy who was a shoe salesman, and he was just in town and was like doing nothing wrong. He was just a guy trying to make a living, and
who obviously has had some trauma in his life.
Yeah, and they bust into his room, and he's like just having gotten out of the shower, and they interrogate him, and they find out that there's nothing to it. He had no connection. The tattoo on his missing arm said "Mom," and it was just a total false lead.
I have to say here that guy was a lot more cooperative than I would have been. That guy is very saintly. Like,
yeah, super nice guy to have dealt with it the way that he did. But from that now, this is where I need to double check something here because I don't want to get ahead of myself. Just trying to make sure.
I think that's
okay.
Actually
yeah. So they also follow up on the other lead, which was the one-armed man did know a guy, Bob, who was a local veterinarian. And
oh yeah, that's right. They went looking for birds.
Yeah, they went looking for birds. They went to the office. They got a sketch of the guy from Cooper's dream, which was corroborated by the vision of Laura's mom from the beginning of the episode. And they show the sketch to like the one-armed guy. He's like, I don't know who that is. And then they go to the veterinarian's office, and the secretary's like, no, that's not the doctor. But he was out. So Cooper gets this idea because there were bird bites on Laura's shoulders, according to Albert's autopsy report from previously.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cooper gets the idea that we got to go through the medical records of this vet to see if anyone, who's got birds that have been brought in. And at the very end of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, as they're going through all of these records, they find that one Jacques Renault had a particular bird whose the bite marks matched the type of. And so now they've got this other. So now they're sort of back on the trail, and they find clues in the apartment which lead them to, they need to pursue, in the woods. But that's in episode 6.
I totally just jumped you.
And then I'm not going to click on that. And
it's
then,
cute. You gotta click on it. Click on it.
We're almost done. Settle, Devin. Settle.
What is a baby and a puppy?
So the final bit of episode 5 that made me go, what the fuck? Very last scene, Jocelyn is back at the house she lives in, I guess, with...
Wait, which one's Jocelyn?
Jocelyn's the mill owner. The wife.
Yeah.
The widow, I guess. And she gets a letter that she was very surprised to get, opens it up, and on it is just a card with a large domino piece sort of sketched out on it that matches a domino piece that we saw Hank, the paroled ex-con, playing with during his parole hearing. And then Jocelyn gets a call. Yeah. And then he was playing with it during the parole hearing, and then Jocelyn gets a call from Hank. And and she says, "Have you seen my message?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's frightened, and it's confusing. And then he hangs up the phone, and he's got that domino chip again. And what the fuck is this supposed to mean? God damn it!
I think I might have been drinking during that part because I don't.
Yeah, that was at the very end. Well, yeah, and it was like it's there. It's not.
No. I'm not arguing against you. I'm just saying, like, holy shit, that's a huge plot development that I completely just don't remember.
So now there's this connection between Hank and Jocelyn, and in the description, and this was something else. So I think we can get into guessing and conjecturing now. So in the ow, I was standing up and I stepped on the cord of my headphones. Sorry. So as Hank is going through his parole, he describes what I believe is meant to be the incident that got him in jail in the first place. And he talks about driving at night and a vagrant on the side of the road and what fate had done to his life. And they say, "Oh, it was not fate, Mr. So-and-so," and
Mr. Criminal.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yes, well, I've thought a lot about it and blah, 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 and please let me out." But the important thing is that I'm pretty sure, and anyone listening to this who actually knows what's going on is probably very mad that I'm only weakly sure of this, but if I remember correctly, the way that Jocelyn's husband died was a car accident when he was out walking at night.
Wait. Oh, okay, no, I'm...
And so my immediate thought is that Hank was implicated in the death of Jocelyn's husband. And
complete honesty, that wouldn't surprise me.
And that she always thought he had something to do with it, but it was never proven, or maybe I'm actually just missing something obvious because it's been so long, and that was why he was in jail, and that this is not a revelation so much as it is me forgetting something. I don't know. But yeah, so 3 episodes to go, and now there's a whole other crazy subplot.
That's insane that there's only 3 episodes. Like, how are they ever going to really cinch us up into a neat little package for us?
Well, episode 6 does, I will say this, episode 6 does start to cover some of that and start to tie some things up, but it also still leaves us, that's the thing, episode 6 also throws up another, what the fuck kind of connection, but also starts to approach some resolution. So you'll get there, and we as a group will get there. What are you eating?
I totally just spilled it all over myself. No. I'm eating Nature Harvest sunflower kernels that are honey roasted. They're like heroin. No, and now I'm getting a phone call. 1 second.
Just...
Oh my god. Hello? I'm doing the podcast right now.
What?
Oh, I'll call you back. Bye. Now I'm scared. It was no one calls me unless it's important.
Sure, right. I know, I understand that. Actually, I got kind of freaked out last week because I got a call from my dad as I was in class, and as I was walking back, I was like, normally, and he just he did this thing that I hate it when people do, is that he just left a message and was just like, "Hey, bud, it's Dad. Give me a call back when you have a chance. Bye." And that's it.
If nothing did that, I would think someone died.
I'll have to probably bleep that out, huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, how are you?
Nothing.
But that's weird to you.
Nothing.
Well, to be fair, until you said that, it could have been anybody.
Fuck. I'm the worst at this.
Sure. Okay. I think I know what I can do to solve it. But why don't we wrap up for now? Because I've got a lot of writing to do, and you have important calls to make. So
you should not be in grad school anymore. Cause it's boring.
Yeah, I've got it. I'm committed. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
So, episode 6 of Twin Peaks for next week, everybody.
I promise. If you want to do 2 episodes, I promise you, I will not fail. I promise on everything
we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that during the week. Let's presume at least episode 6.
There's something I'm forgetting too. Anyway, you should close up this episode because I am intolerable.
Okay. Do you have any music to take us out this week?
No. No. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I don't know who to credit though. It's who do we play last week?
It's what?
What?
You said something that you kind of mumbled there, and then I lost you.
Who did we play last week?
Something by some band.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know about as much information as I do. But number 2 on that.
That thing from last week. Okay. I think I saved the link here because I thought you might do that.
I think you.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, fair enough. I can't even argue with you because you're completely fucking right. But like, I wanna argue with you.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be a dick. Yeah, this is
it's perfectly fair.
From Blue Ducks and their album Heavy Air. The song is One Iron Knots. This has been the World's Worst Podcast. Thanks for listening.
We love you.
Well, Devin loves you. I like you a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
When you spit, I get burned. Taste the waste, the set club, getting high. Bad beats getting played for a decade and dead in the modern movie making pale to the start. Fads creep in, fail to think or swim. Fever find it's easy, let your brain bind gelatin. White dazzles as feed on seep as they go with the fundamental heat to forget it. Better catch your face down with your freedom song, feeding and filling the heads of mediums and medics while I spend weekdays trading and